How good is this? I'm sitting here with my good friend Paul Bryan. He knows stuff. Okay. He's the guy that I would call if I had some massive drama. Let's hope I never hit that red button. But Paul, I'm so glad you're here. What is it that makes you so committed to helping NDIS businesses as opposed to plumbing business, trading businesses, electrician businesses? Why NDIS?
I used to work with trades and all that sort of stuff. Um, before 2020, I was coaching lots of random different sort of businesses, and it was really cool because you can do all sorts of things. However, I was working with an NDIS provider like 2020, and also at the same time like a mechanic. And with the mechanic, basically his goal was to buy a second boat. And for the NDIS provider, it was to help the young guys he was working with find meaningful employment. And at the sort of end of the projects, it was so much more rewarding to have worked with the provider to help his clients achieve that and help him achieve that with more clients. And the mechanic goes, awesome, cool, now let's open up a second workshop. And I'm kind of going, that's cool. And to be brutally honest, that paid more. But I thought about if I'm going to really lean into somewhere, I want to lean in somewhere that I feel like I'm making an actual real difference. And I've always felt that if I could make a difference in people's lives, I would be achieving my goal in life. So then I looked at it and go, well, should I go become a provider and, do this sort of stuff and that sort of thing? And I realized, it looks actually really easy. I don't need any qualifications or any legal requirements. I can just go start a business, which concerned me. And so while working with this other provider, I got referred to somebody else. We looked at it. The industry was just a mess. And I thought that I can help exponentially more people if I help the businesses who are really good at helping people to build their business so they can. Because the more people who care about their clients running good businesses, the less people there will be who don't care about their clients running good businesses. So that was the primary goal there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because the reality is so many of the skills and strategies you teach would be just as applicable to, the cafe down the road, the guy who's servicing your car. But the thing is, you're not here just to make money. You and I, we don't need more income tomorrow, okay? What we need is a life that works. And for you, having a work life that works means feeling like you're actually contributing to people. So a lot of what you do is contributing to people's work life, but then you and I both know that you help people behind the scenes, not just in their businesses. How do you help people behind the scenes at the things that actually matter more than what they're paying you to solve?
I think a lot of people get confused with this whole idea of work-life balance. If you're a business owner / entrepreneur, your life is your work. It's part of, I'm sure that anybody listening to this will go, yeah, it's basically my next kid. And sometimes it's your firstborn because you just put so much more effort into it. And I think that there are seasons that we go through. So we talk more about sort of harmony rather than balance because it's not one or the other, it's in unison. So if we're going to acknowledge the fact that you're running a business and a family and your own health and your own mental capacity and your marriage, all of that actually has to work together. Otherwise, you've got a bleeding gunshot wound in one area while you're trying to gold wrap the other one. And that's just not actually viable. I don't think that's coherent or responsible either.
No, I mean, all that'll happen is you'll be richer while your life falls apart.
Yeah, and there's plenty of people who have done that. I think we can look at the celebrity world and go, yeah, cool. Billions of dollars is really cool, but if no one actually likes you or wants to hang out with you much, or your kids don't like you or whatever it is, really doesn't mean that much.
Yeah, I find it encouraging seeing your style of coaching for people because I see that. Because there are a couple of people who you and I have both worked with. You've coached them and then I've done little projects for them along the way in life. And I see that they're very conscious when they work with you, Paul, that they're not just building a business. They're also building their family. They're also building their health. I see so much value in that, and I don't see that with a lot of other coaches. Well, I don't see it with almost any other coaches. And I'm like, what is it that you're doing that's causing the people who you're serving and working with to look more than just the surface? The urgent is always payroll next week or, this financial year. What is it you're doing to push people's eyes past that to the other things that you and I might say matter more?
I think there's always, and I've seen this a lot with people who kind of go out, yeah, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, here's the big gaping wound. And there is the big gaping wound. Like a lot of people come to me and say, Paul, we just need more clients. But it's people responding to a symptom, not a root cause. And so we bring it back a little bit and go, right, well, if we look at your business, you're not getting any clients in. Well, it probably means that your messaging or your funnel sucks. And so you're not, okay, but are you onboarding your staff in a way that they know who they're working with and they actually, that there's so many other things that like network in your business for things to work really well. For us to not say that your home life is connected to that is irresponsible and silly. Because if you're never home and your partner's unhappy with you and you're upset because you haven't spent time with your kids and mum guilt's a real thing, you're not going to perform at the way you want to because, to be brutally honest, self-sabotage is built into us. There's this idea that you never grow into pain. And so if your business is causing you pain at home life, doesn't matter how much you want to grow it, your brain will make decisions that won't let you grow it. You will not answer the phone because you're worried about the phone call. You will take an extra day to reply to that email. You will not hire the person that you know you need to hire in order to take things off your plate. All these things, but meanwhile, you're spinning your wheels going, we just need more clients in, we better spend more on marketing, and it's all Band-Aids.
Yeah, I love hearing this. So basically you're saying, and this is a spin on things I haven't heard, you're saying that self-sabotage, that the whole world would say self-sabotage, self-sabotage. You're saying, actually, it's just the balancing mechanism that's built into us to make sure that we don't completely lose sight of the other goals in life. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, let's assume that not everyone here is a sociopath. You're not gonna grow into pain. Like literally, if you got standing on a spike, you're not going to lean onto it harder, right? You're just not going to push harder into that pain. But if we just go, right, well, if we solve the initial problem, so many more dominoes start to fall after that. If we go, right, well, and it's the first thing we do, to be honest, when we work with someone, a profitable provider, we don't go, oh, we want more clients or whatever it is. We go, let's just look at your time. Where are you spending your time? What's the function of your time? What's the output of your time? Because if we go, we can identify when you're on, when you're off, then we're going to have time to actually focus on the things that will grow your business, right? We did this really cool session end of last year where we just identified for 2026, what are the big rocks for the year, both business and personal, right? Is there a holiday that's coming up, or you planned a holiday that you had to cancel last year because of what was going on? What did that do to your family? What did that do to your mindset? What did that do to your energy? And now you're going, I'm working at 110%, but it's actually like 50% because you're not doing well. So we just allocate the right things at the right time. There's a guy, Jim Rohn, who said, when you're at work, be at work. When you're at the beach, be at the beach. Don't swap them.
That is so good. That's the opposite of the whole Instagram, hi, I'm in Bali working on my laptop. What a stupid idea that would be. I love it. So how do you implement this stuff in your life, Paul? Because you're a dad, you got kids, you got hobbies. How do you make it happen in your life? The switching off and the switching on.
I've been the guy that didn't go to the assemblies or the basketball games and all that sort of stuff. So we just made a conscious decision of when I work and when I don't work. And it's surprising. I went from working like 80, 90 hours a week in a previous business to still running that business, starting a new business, coaching 2 basketball teams, getting to the gym and booking in regular date night. And I got more done in less time just because I focused on the high output things that actually really mattered. And it was just creating this framework, a corset for my week, I guess, right? Just like tighten it up. And we go, right, well, I'm going to work between 8 till 3 in the week because my kids leave for school before 8 and they're home just after 3. And so that's when I work. And so I'm always there in the afternoon to help with homework. My wife works till 5, so I can get dinner started. And if I need to pick them up, I can. Fortunately, got a son that drives as well, so that's super, super helpful. But I can go to the basketball games. And then, you know what? I'm actually really creative at night. So I've got a couple of nights that I work because that works in my time. From like 9 till 11, I work at night. But that's allocated time because that's what I do on 2 nights a week. Not all nights. That works for me. I think, I've had this conversation with a lot of providers. They go, yeah, Paul, but you're a coaching business, not a provider. And we mentioned about like different business principles. Business principles are business principles. Time is time. We all have the same amount of minutes every week, every day. You can just make some decisions. It doesn't mean they're going to happen overnight. It took about 2 months for me to go from that 80 hours a week, just work, tired, stressed out, to this works now and it's functional. 2 months. right? And if we give ourselves a bit of a runway, we can go, right, that's when this is going to work. These are the measured steps I'm going to put in place between now and then. And sometimes it costs you money. Sometimes it costs you brain effort. Sometimes it costs you learning something new so that you can do the thing. And that just is a really important space for people to get to where you go, yeah, okay, that's what I want. I'm going to work to it. And maybe it's 2 weeks, maybe it's a year, whatever the thing is. But if you don't make the decision and give it a time and date and duration, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you said that's true. And you said the other day when you and I were chatting about something else that you need to get rid of your to-do list and replace it with a calendar. What did you mean by that? Because that's quality.
To-do lists are the place where things go to die and not happen. There's a lot of interesting stuff around the dopamine of literally crossing something off your list. Or if it's not on a list, putting the thing you've just done on a list and then crossing it off. Like it's this dopamine of actually crossing things off. But the thing is, if it's important, it should be in your calendar. And you can go, right, from was it 11:20 to, or 11 o'clock to 11:45, I've got a call with you. And so I know I'm doing a call with you because it's in my calendar. It's a priority that I'm going to focus on. I'm going to be prepared for that call. I've got a thing in my calendar for picking up my kid and taking him to the chiropractor today. I've allowed travel time in that. Now, in that travel time, I usually have my phone on record so I can speak to my phone and take notes and that sort of stuff so we can utilize our time better. But everything goes, my date night isn't a diary. I've gotten over being embarrassed about this little story, but I'll tell it really, really quickly. Back when I was working stupid long hours, I realized that I hadn't really told my wife that I love her in a long time. Apart from oh, I love you, whatever. But the spontaneous little bits and pieces that make relationships a bit fun. And so I put in my calendar with an alarm, text wife that you love her, right?
That's good.
It wasn't every Wednesday at 2:00. It was, just randomized throughout the week. But you know what it did? It started a routine of me doing that on a regular basis, right? She appreciated it. Then she learned that it was in my calendar and she goes, what? You had to be reminded. It said, yeah, because I was just busy. And she goes, oh, that's actually really nice. So what's the thing that you know you should be doing? It probably doesn't take you as long as it does, as you say it should. We go, oh yeah, I really need to do that, that plan for my business, that I need to do the budget for my business, right? It's on your to-do list. Guess what? It's going to keep getting kicked down by the urgent fires that come up. But if you put it in your calendar for 2 weeks on Thursday at 9 a.m., you've pre-budgeted the time for that. And these little things just push businesses forward so fast because you just go, right, I'm not going to worry about quick wins. I'm going to worry about building a cadence that lets me grow.
This is great. By doing this, you moved yourself from 80 hours to 50 hours or 45 or something in just 2 months, which is remarkable. And then you also said, people say you weren't a provider. Honestly, there's probably 5 phone calls that happen outside of hours for a provider that could end their business that they need to deal with. But the other 50 they think need to deal with, you just accept that you'll take on less clients. You just accept that not everything will be as profitable or whatever because it's a trade-off. You can have your life and not have to answer the phone constantly, or you can have every single dollar and then be a slave. A or B.
You can 100% relate this to providers because at the end of the day, if you want to be a slave to the market, you 100% will be. But if you want to build a business that's going to be sustainable, you'll put some non-negotiables and boundaries in place. And we kind of go, when you're let's say a business below $1 million, right? You're kind of going, I just want to get all the clients I can. I just need to grow.
Let's just be really clear. By that, what you're meaning is a business whose annual revenue is below $1 million. So we're talking like 85 grand a month in turnover.
Yeah. And so a lot of the people in that space just kind of go, I've got to grow. But it doesn't mean you have to be a slave because, one of the things we do with all our businesses that sort of started that range, we help them remove themselves from being on call for everyone because they've just trained everyone in their ecosystem that you'll drop everything and go and do it, right? Whereas the market rewards people who build trust, not who just drop everything because now you're just a slave to the system. And you go, oh yeah, but if I got all my clients because I just dropped everything and did it. Great. You can't sustain that at a business twice the size. It's just not viable. And the research tells us literally thousands of conversations with providers. When you make this switch of going, I'm going to do everything to I'm just going to build trust by having some non-negotiables in place, you build. And it's just true.
Yeah. And it means you'll put your time into things that matter.
100%.
Because the other thing is, when you were working 80 hours a week, sure, you saved money on a staff member, but you weren't happy, and you traded out that time, whatever. And you quoted Jim Rohn, when you're at work, be at work. When you're at the beach bit at the beach. It's like, it's probably 20 hours a week that you do your most important work in. And the rest is just this semi-important, yeah, I haven't really delegated, I haven't really created a system to deal with it. If you or I, or almost anyone listening, had to fit their work week into 20 hours, I'm pretty sure most people could do it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Parkinson's law, work expands to fill the space it's given, right? The classic example is, my son has an exam or an assignment due in 2 weeks. He's got 2 weeks to do it, but I know for a fact he can do it in 2 days because that's usually when he starts at 2 days before the thing, right? And so we can go, work expands to fill the space you give it. And a lot of owners think it's just their staff that applies to. You go, oh, they've got so much time to do all this sort of stuff, but they say they're busy. Well, they're focusing on the wrong things for one. But you as the owner, the director, the founder, focus on the things that you actually want to get done for number one, that you should be doing, not the things you shouldn't be doing. And give yourself a time frame and duration to do it because you will get it done. And the old thing is, if tomorrow you needed to keep your house, you would probably figure out how to do it. But if a year from now you had to have an extra 10K to pay for a holiday, you would go, oh, I'll see, I'll play, I'll just kind of, you would figure it out, right? You would make it happen. So go get a credit card, or you ask your friends, or you just pull it out somewhere, or you just sell something.
Phone your mum.
Whatever it is, you would figure it out. And the same thing happens with time.
I love this. Okay, so people who are listening to this can see you know your stuff, and they don't just know it from today. I would like to see, Paul, every man and his dog get to your April Surfers Paradise Summit. There's not, like, anyone who would ever ask me, should I go? My answer would be yes, whether they've got a big business or whether they've just started out, because people learn so much of that. I went there last year. To be honest, my expectations were moderate. I'm like, yeah, Paul's really cool, but I don't know, a summit is a summit. When I left, I'm like, wow, that is the most helpful conference I've been to, and I'm in my 40s. In terms of, and a lot of it was the quality of the people there, because you have a lot of leaders of leaders in your programs. But a lot of it was because there's just something about going away and being deliberate about working on your systems and planning out what your systems will be and getting out of the noise that was so good. So I want everyone to go there. I hope a lot of people listening to this and do go. What am I not portraying when I'm trying to explain why people should go? What are the others, like, that's what I got out of it. What do you find other people get out of it?
With everything we do, there's two components, and there's the learning, which is half of it, and there's the experience, which is the other half. Because you can go to a lot of conferences where you get a lot of talk and you go, I'm going to sit and listen, take notes, it's all great, and you learn something, and that's really, really cool. And then, you go out and have morning tea and you come back in. And that's sort of the whole thing. With the coaching, with the summit, with all the events we do, it's got to be 50-50 because you've got to learn, but you've got to apply it as well. So we probably do less information and more activation. Like, here's the thing we're going to do. We're not going to learn 40 things. We're going to learn 1 to 3 things and apply them right now. So when you walk out of there, it's done. And then we're going to have decent chunks of time where you're going to debrief with other people, you're going to build a bit of relationship, you're going to meet other providers, you're going to learn how they applied it and go, oh, that might work for me too. This person is in this state, they do the same thing as me, but they do it a little bit differently. Maybe I could apply that to how I do things. And that, we call it the white space, the time between sessions and afterwards, allows you to get so much more output from the time you had in the session with the workshop.
Yeah. That actually makes sense, because I went into your Surfers Summit. It was at the Easter one last year that blew my mind, because I went in there with no LinkedIn course. I walked out of it with a LinkedIn program that was already had some people had bought it.
Yeah, you pre-sold it there, didn't you?
I pre-sold, and it wasn't to people at the conference. It was to people outside the conference.
Yeah.
Because I just thought, I'm like, stuff this. If I had to make a program, how would I do it? Okay, And I'm not one of your clients. I'm just Joe Average turning up. Your clients are there who you've had a relationship with, and you're able to help them at a much bigger extent. So it's like, it is very do, take action, take the next step. I think it's easy for us when we're surrounded by loud people whinging to think that's normal. But when I was at your conference, I didn't think that was loud people whinging. I didn't hear a single loud whinger. I cannot think of one. And there were 100. Yeah, tell me about that.
Spinning wheels. We built conference as a client event. It's not a sales event. It's not come and like, hopefully you'll sign up. I built it for my clients, but we just thought that this would be really good for other people to come along to as well. And we do large scale client events, which are solely client events. But then you go along to something like this, and there's people who just like weekly, monthly coaching is awesome for a wide population of people. But some people just kind of go, I just want to go hit it for like 4 days and then run with the information. Great. I consider them clients as well because they've come, they've learned, and they've implemented, right? We've got people that have been to all of our summits because they just come along, they do the thing, implement, they come back next year bigger, better, and kicking goals. But that's built, and that consistency, I think, has built a bit of a paradigm shift where we don't sit there and complain about the industry. We don't sit there and complain about business. We go, here's a reality. Here's where we want to be. Let's make a new reality and head towards it with these processes. We're going to install. We're going to take my workbook back, which has got the information on exactly how I'm going to run it. Here's the framework. Here's how I'm making the framework. And then here's how I'm going to install it in my business. And you've got that stuff there, which gives people a much better outlook on what things will look like, because there's so much negativity in the space. And it's really easy to be negative in the space because there's so much negative stuff going on. So you just have to make a decision to go in a different direction.
Yeah, it's true. Also, in that atmosphere of like 100, I don't know how many there were, 70, 80, 100 people who are all trying to build something of worth and value that will shape other people's lives. People don't have time to sit around whinging, because like, why would I sit around whinging when I could go and ask Chris Lapper how I can tweak some Facebook ads for one of my clients? Why would I whinge when I could go and ask, Greg Chadwick, like what he's doing with his offers and how one of my other clients could, like, it would be a waste of life. So it definitely brings the right people who are looking to build that. So
On that,
if someone,
there was Chris did a couple of sessions there at our one last year, and literally people come up to me afterwards and said, "Hey, can you just have a look at this?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure." Like, I think like 10 providers got to sit down with one of the industry's leading marketers and get an audit on what they needed, get some tips. He didn't charge for that. It was like literally, "Oh, cool, over lunch, just check out your website. Oh, you should change this, you should do that." And they go, "Oh, that works. That's awesome." So I don't think you get that kind of access most other places. And that was really, really cool.
yeah, and the thing is, if Chris was charging you for that, it would cost you $1,000 before you even start.
Yeah.
You know that. But when you get those sort of people together, good things happen. So obviously, Paul is not sending me a bottle of wine because, Paul, I don't like wine, just being real. But I literally want everyone who's listening to this to go and at least look into whether or not they should go to the Surfers Summit at Paul. What
Level
date
Up
is it?
Summit 2026.
The proper word for it is Level Up Summit 2026. And how would people find that website if they're driving and they won't remember?
Head to my socials. There will be a link on it when this goes up. That will take you straight there. Paul Bryan Coach on pretty much any platform will find me. From the 29th, so here's a really, really quick rundown. 29th, Wednesday the 29th in the evening, we're at the QT Hotel. We're going to have a big welcome dinner and networking. To be honest, it's probably one of the most fun things that we do. It's really, really good. You meet the people that you're going to be spending the next couple of days with. Thursday's a full day, and we've got some small group dinners that night. You're going to go sit with one of our speakers and table hosts. Wednesday's a half day, and at lunchtime we have lunch, and then everyone goes off, goes for a swim at the beach, goes to Dreamworld or whatever you want to do for the afternoon and evening. Friday, we've got about a day, 3/4 of a day. We sort of do the learning in the morning and then the application mastermind at the end of the day. Big dinner at night. Saturday we just that day with a big dinner at night. And then Sunday, nothing. Just chill out, late checkout, head home when you want to. We've built it in a way that everyone gets the same experience. The ticket covers everything, like the breakfast, the dinners, everything. And what was really cool was we had a provider who was doing like $20 million a year, like big provider, 300 staff, kicking goals, who at the dinner met a provider with like 8 clients, like learning the ropes in business. And they didn't know the size of each. They were just chatting and learning from each other and communicating. They both learnt something from each other. And then they were sitting together the next day, and there's no way that small provider would have ever had access to learn from someone like that by just going, this is how I apply it, this is what it looks like, in the regular world. And it was just really cool to see that happening. Plus, it wasn't like that they had to miss out on things. They had the same experience all the way through, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's really true. Well, we got to wrap up. Before we do, this is important. I remember texting you last year going, "Hey, Paul, I'm not in your programs. If anything, I'm like the least likely guy to ever join a program, but is there a spot there that I can still, is there a spot there for me?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure." I had the impression if I wasn't part of your normal stuff that maybe I'm not welcome. Like just being really clear, every man his dog and lady and her dog is welcome. This is not
Mm.
just for your
Yeah.
people. Even though you've said it, let's say it again because it's so true. Because even I missed that in last year's stuff. The second thing I think is that's really important is when you turn up, you're not going there to sell stuff. You're not going there to meet people who'll buy from you. You're going there to learn from other people who are good at their craft, from whom you'll learn how to do stuff when you go home. Have I summed that up right?
100%. We've got some amazing speakers this year, and some of them are actually even our guys from Profitable Provider who have just taken something, run with it, and they're going to be basically showing exactly how they installed it and worked on it in their business and the results they've gotten. So you can literally go, oh, I'm going to take that and run with it too because it works, right? And we've got guys like Tommy Trout is going to be there. It's going to be amazing. He is going to revolutionize brands in the room. Tanya is going to be getting everyone's crap sorted with all the stuff that's coming out with compliance. Just been working on that. It's really, really cool. We've got Val and Dorian from Biotechnology, who, to be brutally honest, are probably the leading experts in people and system implementation. If you're a provider that is just going, we got to get these systems working because it's clunky, you're going to want to be there for that 100%. It's going to be killer.
That's really good. The people you're talking about, people like Tommy Trout, he's the guy I think who taught Chris Lapper half of what he knows.
Pretty
Like
much.
like Tommy's as good as they come, and like Tanya Gomez, if there's a better leadership skilled equipped person around, I don't know who they are. Like these are leaders of leaders of leaders. It's worth going to. I'll be there, and I know you'll be there, Paul, and I hope a lot of other people are going to be there. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, spending
Oh,
time
mate,
and
cool.
sharing the wisdom. I really appreciate what you're doing, and I'll see you on another podcast.
Yeah, man. Great chatting. Thank you so much.
See you later. Bye.